Hey everyone, David back here at the shop, and first off I want to apologize for the noise. I got a window unit running in the background here. As you know, I'm in Texas and it's probably 101, 102 degrees outside, which makes my shop here 100 and stupid. It's just crazy hot. So couldn't survive without this air conditioner in here. Alright, so today I wanted to do a real quick talk on another option for a battery discharger. If you recall, I did a review, a little benchtop review on this SkyRC BD200. It's a great discharger, runs about 89 bucks normally. I got it on sale for 69, so it's a good deal on it. This one is very sophisticated in that you can set your target voltage, you set your target amperage that you want to discharge with, so it's really versatile. So Jim out at the field, he had bought one off of Amazon, Maylibet. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong, it could be Maylibet. But at any rate, this is an intelligent discharger, and it's really cool. So I just want to real quick go over it. Very simple device. It's fully automatic. It has only a XT60 input port, balance lead, has a air that will suck in on this side and then an exhaust vent on the other. It only has one button, a start and a stop. So let's zoom in on it and we'll talk about it real quick, and I'll give it a demonstration. Okay, so in the box you just have the device and a little simple fold out instruction manual. It's pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's a really automatic device. So let's get it plugged in. And it only uses XT60, so you can see this is actually a Dean's adapter. This is a Genzace 3S 2200 that we'll be using. And so I'm using an adapter for it. So we'll get that plugged in. On your balance port, the ground is the closest to your XT60 connector. So you get that plugged in. You still don't see anything on the screen yet. You got to hit the little start button down here on the corner. When you fire that up, and hopefully that's in focus. Hold on, let's stand by with the camera. Alright, so that's a little bit better. When you first plug in your battery and you turn it on, it's going to give you a readout for each cell, what the voltage is on each one. It'll give you a total voltage on your pack, and then it gives you a amperage drawdown. And again, this is fully automatic, so once you hit the start button, it'll begin to drain the battery down. Now when you first turn it on, you have about 30 seconds. If you don't touch anything, it'll beep and it'll shut itself off. Just stand by for, give it another 5 seconds or so to reset internally. Tap it one more time, bring it on. And once you see your voltages, just hit the start button. And I'm going to go ahead and start my timer on my telephone. This way we can see how long it takes to charge this pack. This was a, here we go. Alright, now the stopwatch is running. It's going to be out of the focus of the camera, but I'll show it here in a minute. You can see it's just started up. We're at 8 seconds, so we'll add 15 seconds to whatever it ends up at. So let's talk about it a little bit while it's working. Again, the advantages of this is it's fully automatic. You just plug it in and take off. The fan you're hearing running, once it starts pulling down a little bit of current, it will go ahead and kick that fan on automatically. So with that one button push operation, it's really a no-brainer. That's the positive. The downside is it's really a no-brainer, and that you can't go in and change it. It's going to target your initial voltage drain down to somewhere between 3.8 and 3.85. That's been my experience on the first couple of packs that I charged. This one right here is a Genzace 3S 2200. It's fully charged battery, as you saw in the voltages when we started. I went flying this morning. This is one of the packs that I did not use. Actually, it's the only pack I didn't fly. So I thought it'd be a great time to check it out. And again, Jim out at the field, he purchased this one through Amazon for $69.99. And so I just want to kind of give a comparison between this one and the Sky RC. Just kind of see which one has advantages. So this one by far is the easiest to operate. You don't have to know anything about voltages or amp drawdown or anything like that. This runs at 120 watts. So they claim 8 amp discharge. My experience on the few times I've ran it, it'll range anywhere from 5 to as much as 15. If you're doing a 2-cell battery, if you do the math on it, 120 watts divided by your voltage gives you how many amp drawdown you're going to have. So if you're doing a 6-cell battery, the maximum is going to be around 5 amps that it's going to discharge at. So that's another disadvantage. It's going to take a little bit longer. With the Sky RC, the BD200, sorry it's not in focus, but with the BD200 you can actually dictate how many amps you want to pull down. You can go as high as 30 amps on it, so to really put a strain on your battery, it's going to cause your battery to not last as long, of course, because it's going at maximum discharge rate. It's sort of like using the pack in an EDF at high throttle the entire flight. Whereas this one's going to be a little more nominal, kind of in the sweet, happy medium spot. So you can see this one right here currently. I got to move around to where I can see it. It's drawn down at 8.0 amp, 8.1 amps. And the reason being 120 watts divided by your nominal voltage of 12.6 volts on a fully charged pack. That tells you how many amps drawdown maximum that you're going to be able to pull down. And the amps will vary as your voltage comes down. Obviously your amp draw will come down as well. So if you look at your target voltages, you can see right now they're at around 3.89 to 3.87. My experience on it, the first time I connected a battery, a 3S battery, and put onto it, it pulled it down to around 3.83 to 3.85. Now that's what the instruction says on this. It'll bring it down into a discharge rate of either somewhere between 3.8 and 3.85. It's not a solid variable on there. It tries to balance it at the same time as discharging it. So if you have a wide range between your cells, if you have one cell that's 380 and one that's 3.84, that's where it's going to stop at. If you take the same pack, for example, one of my batteries that I did on this as a test, I had a wide range there. It was 0.4 in between the spread. So I had one that went down to 3.8, and I had one that was 3.84, a little lower, 3.845 actually. So it stopped there automatically on the discharge. So I waited a few seconds, plugged the exact same battery back in, and hit go again on it. And at that point it went ahead and discharged it down, and I got within a 0.1 variance between the cells. It did take extra amount of time, you know. It was a 3-cell battery, and it took, on that second pass, took probably another 10-12 minutes or so. So we've been running about 4.5 minutes so far, and you can see we're still got some voltages that we're having to pull down. We're at around 3.82, 3.81. So it's working pretty quick actually. 5 minutes and 7 seconds is what's on the timer. And we have a spread of only 3.80 to 3.82 it looks like. So it should be shutting down right here within the next minute or so. Initial thoughts on it. I think it's a hands down winner if a person doesn't want to have to do any brain work and try to figure out your voltages. The Sky RC BD200 is fantastic. You can use it to do many different types of batteries as well. This one is pretty much just a LiPo. There's no way to change the firmware on this that I've seen. There's no USB port or anything like that, whereas the Sky RC does have a USB port, so you can change and upgrade the firmware, which I did when I first got it. So this one here is pretty much what you buy is what you get. Nothing wrong with that if all you're using is LiPo batteries. But I would not use it to discharge LiFi batteries and put them in storage or NiCads or anything else. lead acid, none of that. Strictly for a Lipo batteries, it's a great device. You can discharge anywhere from 2S to 6S. And again, they claim 8 amps, but in my experience, you know, if you use Ohm's law, if you're doing a 2S battery and you got 120 watts of discharge power, you're going to be able to discharge 14-15 amps pretty easily. Let's stand by here. We're at about 6 minutes 40 seconds. Update on the timer there. And again, once it's over with, we'll add about 15 seconds to it. It's hard for me to see it upside down, but looks like we're at around 380 coming up. And I just heard the fan dropping in volume, so it's probably fixing to shut down. The battery itself has a little bit of warmth on it, nothing major. Probably just a couple of degrees higher than room temperature. So I think the discharge rate on this is going to be the sweet spot, where you're not going to discharge your battery at an extreme amp pull, so it's putting an excessive load on your battery, which you could do on the little Sky RC. If you crank that up to a 30 amp discharge, it'll work a lot faster, but again, it's going to put a lot more strain on your battery. We're at about 7 minutes 50 seconds. And there it is shutting off. It'll beep 3 times when it's done. And so if you take a look at the voltages right now, we are at 385, 386, and 384. So that's within the tolerances that it says, and that's a good storage voltage. Some people will shoot for 3.8. I like the 3.4, 3.5. Just because I don't know how long it's going to be before I fly again. So this way the battery, if you put it at 3.8 and you don't fly for 2 months, you're going to be down 375, 374, 372, somewhere around there, which isn't real great on your battery. So that's a perfect storage rate, right around 383 to 385 in my opinion. It's still running to let the fan cool off. You can see we're right now at about 8:45. It had already stopped, so we'll call it 8 minutes 45 seconds to discharge a fully loaded 3S 2200 milliamp pack. So that's actually pretty quick. It's not too much of a time waster in comparison to your savings that you're going to have by extending the lifespan of your batteries. I found that this shuts off by itself automatically. I usually would let it sit there and run until the fan shuts off, just so that it helps to dissipate the heat in the inside of it and cools the electronics. And it will shut the screen off on its own after a predetermined amount of time. So that's pretty much it. And again, here's the clock on it. Even after all the jibber jabber, we're still at around 9:30. So it's a great little device. And again, he picked this up, Jim did, for $69.99 off of Amazon. So great value. There it is shutting down. The device itself is just a little warm. I mean, nothing major. So again, a few degrees above room temperature. And the battery itself is basically at room temperature now. So that is it. It's a pretty good little investment. If you fly electric planes with Lipos, definitely want to add one of these or one of the Sky RCs or something equivalent to your hangar. Alright, thanks for watching.